Well, right now I think I have it set on auto tune. So
Yeah, you sound like you're singing and not like you're in a witness protection program.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the female to male one. There we are.
It's T-Pain witnessed a murder and he's been relocated. Oh.
There's this really shitty podcast no one should go on called the AWKWARDCast. I wouldn't know, but anyone who goes on it, it's a scam. They act like they're professional, but they totally aren't. It's all carried on the back of one person, and that's the guest.
Wow.
Yes, and with this stunning endorsement, hello and welcome to the AWKWARDCast, where ANY and Keyframe wonder about random dribble. I heard myself. I still hear myself. What is this?
Ooh,
What is this? Keyframe, are you feeding me? You're feeding back to me now? No, stop it.
Revenge. There we go.
God. If there's one person,
sorry, voice meter has 2 seconds, but yes,
don't want to hear it
perfect
myself.
opening.
Yes, but of course, it's not just me and Keyframe. There's also a guest, and this guest is nobody else than the one and only Eddache. Hello and welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you for having me.
For people who don't know who you are, please do enlighten our viewers. Who are you? What do you do? And why should people care?
Oh, I don't know about the last question, but the preceding questions. My name is Eddie Bowley, aka Eddache. I predominantly do animated video essays on just TV and cartoons, predominantly cartoons and movies, and just stuff I like. Honestly, there's no real constant theme. It's just stuff I like. I mean, I used to, for many years, do more like absurdist comedy sketches. So there might be people who might know me for that kind of stuff. But I drifted towards doing more video essay stuff, and as like an experiment because I wasn't very happy with what I was currently doing. And the first one I did out the park, which was How to Solve Who Shot Mr. Burns, got 1 million in a month. I'm like, well, okay then. I think I'm onto something. I think this one's. Oh, don't go back that far. No.
Wait. You said
you're in the bad time there.
You said the first one you did.
Jurassic Shark.
Oh, there it is. Okay, here
Yes.
it starts. So anybody should just start watching here and go forward.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Jurassic Shark is probably worthy of a shout out because that's on like 4 million views. Like that and Mr. Burns, my only million. Oh wow, okay. they're my only 1 million plus videos. Everything else, like the next highest is like 500k, 400k, or something like that. I generally don't get videos that high at all. But yeah, the Jurassic Shark one was something. Because it's like when it reaches a point where it gets over 1 million. Then there's like another surge of people because be like, well, this video has over 1 million views. Ooh. I have to see this, so it starts a second wave of people. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all these views?
Then it's going to get put into the algorithm like 3 years later, and all the comments are just, why was this in my suggested? Haha.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was also an actual movie called Jurassic Shark, and I think maybe it's like a bad movie, right? Like a Sharknado kind of deal.
This is
and I think I think I've been kind of thrown into the mix of that as well.
I have a feeling
it is real. It's from 2012 and it has 1.5 stars on IMDb.
And I've stolen all of their SEO. Like anytime anyone looks for their film, they find my fucking puppet show. It's brilliant.
I know this with a traumatizing thing. I once Googled the name of this podcast.
There was a show on MTV just called Awkward.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you Googled AWKWARDCast and separated Awkward and Cast, you got the cast of the TV show Awkward. This was all you found on Google.
You're stealing the SEO of this entire director's filmography because this guy also directed Raiders of the Lost Shark, She-Rex, and Thunderstorm: The Return of Thor. What the?
Sounds awesome. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like an awesome lineup.
All this person's resume sounds so much cooler than probably what the movies are. Because Attack of the Giant Leeches, Spacemen, Go-Go Girls, and the True Meaning of Christmas. I need to know what that is right now.
Well, I guess we know Keyframe's media for the next 5 weeks.
It's just
Alright,
all
it's
of
movie
Brett
night.
Kelly's from Olive Creek. But yes, you know, there's been a lot going on. So, Eddie, what's been going on recently in the life of the Bowley?
In the
Anything
life of the
interesting?
Bowley. Let's see. Well, I've been I'm kind of between videos. I just released a video for Halloween, which was all about Scooby-Doo. And I've been like, I'm now in that kind of in between phase, right? I haven't fully decided what my next video is going to be, so it's like I'm rewarding myself with kind of a holiday break, like, because I make a video once a month, and like, to make a video, it is like an all-encompassing black hole. Like I like all my time and all my attention is like fixated on this one thing until it's out. So I'm in this like fantastic limbo state where I'm not actually actively working on a video right now. I have like the early workings of what might be the video, but it's long story short, I'm working with a potential sponsor who wants it to be specifically Simpsons related, but they haven't answered me in a week. So now I'm beginning to like just reach over to that plug there and give it maybe a little bit of a toyful tug, because I'm beginning to think maybe I should bail on that, because I don't think they're going to get back to me, and instead focus on something else instead. So like, because like I don't really have a new Simpsons idea. I am like assembling one together because like they specifically asked for it, but I don't have a like I was thinking like, okay, maybe I could do a topic that's on like, not lots of people talk about how the Simpsons should have ended years ago, and you know, that kind of thing. That's kind of like, that's old hat. It's like, well, let's pretend the Simpsons had a finale. What would that finale be? What's the most
like a hypothetical video?
Yeah, like let's say it's not a cancellation, because every other like long running TV show has ultimately been cancelled. And so it's like, well, instead of those, like instead of it being cancelled, it's like they know ahead of time and they're planning for it. We're going to end on this episode. What would that be? And I was going to do a study on like how other long running TV shows have actually reached their finales, and you know, is there like lessons to be drawn on how to do a finale that could be applied to a hypothetical Simpsons episode? But then somebody literally covered that topic this year. So like that's one of the first things I do. Once I have an idea, I like search YouTube for who else has covered this, and am I actually doing anything new? Because if I'm not, then I won't. Or if it's maybe from years and years ago, I might be like, well, okay, maybe I could still bring something fresh to it. But like when it's literally been covered this year, I'm like, no, I cannot do the same video. So I had to bail on that. The other idea I had was, gosh, what was it? The very first episode of The Simpsons, episode 1, is Simpsons Roasted on Open Fire. It's the one where they get Santa's Little Helper.
Yeah,
it's the Christmas episode. It's the one. But they that wasn't the planned first episode. The planned first episode was the Babysitter Bandit, the one where they get a babysitter and she ties up Bart and Lisa, and
the one that's actually based off the production pilot that there's like that lost media for.
That's the thing. That's the exact one. Yeah, because they made that episode that was intended to be their first episode. But the animation from it came back so bad that they had to postpone the show for like months to get that episode back up to scratch, which pushed it to the end of the season instead of being the start of the season. And because they pushed it to December, they thought, well, let's just make the Christmas episide first. Which is why, like in the Babysitter episode, there is no dog. The Santa's Little Helper isn't present in the episode, and I think there's other elements as well that doesn't make sense continuity-wise. But yeah, so I thought, that's really interesting. Let's discuss that. Oh wait, no, somebody has literally covered it this year. So much of like Simpsons lore and Simpsons anecdotal stuff, and so much of it has been just so richly covered. Like, it's weird that I managed to get in there when I did with a Who Shot Mr. Burns related video, because if I had not, somebody would have been immediately after me. I was so lucky to sort of pip in there just before everyone else did.
Yeah, the only things that I could think of that would be like not treaded on very sown ground is maybe like the vocal evolutions of the characters, because since all of Simpsons is on Disney Plus, I rewatch a lot of old episodes and go watch some of the new ones, and it is like night and day. I mean, Homer went from an impression to an actual voice, but the voice of Marge is just...
Yeah, Julie Kavanagh's struggling now.
That poor woman, you know? And even the voice of Lisa, even though that's her natural speaking voice, which I guess that's the fear of most voice actors when they have to use their natural speaking voice for a character, is you will age with that character.
It's true, yeah. I mean, there was no way they could have predicted how long the show was going to run for. I'm sure, like, Julie Kavanaugh would be like, well, shit. I wish I went with my natural voice off, sort of this croaky, raspy voice this entire time. So I generally struggle. I mean, like, what I try to do with my videos is a little bit meta. So it's like, well, I might talk about The Simpsons, but I don't want to do like my top 10 favorite episodes or something like that, because I don't think I'm adding anything new. So it's more like, is there something meta? Like, for example, the Scooby-Doo video I did, I rewatched the original 25 episodes of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And I looked at each of the ghosts and I tried to recreate their methods to make my own ghost. And so I go through each one, and so that's more interesting rather than just like an analysis of Scooby-Doo. I actually go one step bigger and be like, okay, now I'm gonna make these.
It's no surprise from the person who rented a theater to watch Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I did that. Actually, I didn't cost any money. That was a kind of a gifted thing. Aww. That was we were so this is back in the before times, February, where we were talking to the cinema chain about a potential sponsor. This is like myself and Tom Scar. We were talking about a potential sponsorship deal to promote like some of their fancier screens and stuff. And like, we're all like on the same page. We're all like, yeah, this is cool. We've got some funny ideas. And I just said, oh, incidentally, like I have a humble channel. It has nearly 100K subs. Would it be all right if I basically came in before they opened and played a copy of Monsters Inc. on the cinema screen and explained the stupid idea? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. We'll hook you up with the main cinema in Trafalgar Square, where they actually hold premieres. And they're like, yeah, you go in before they open, you go play with their cinema screens. I'm like, I'm putting out so many people who probably just want to like come into work, have their coffees, wind up to the day. But no, they're going to let in a couple of YouTubers to go like prat around in one of their cinema screens. So like, yeah, that cost no money. That was basically just part of like, yeah, sure, we're friends. Let's, I'll throw you a bone and you can go do that. And then that became the only thing that came out of that meeting, because then the whole everything happened. And everything shut. So like, well, okay.
Welp.
Yeah. So basically,
yeah,
I've been.
That sounds all cool.
Yeah. So basically, I've been struggling to think of a Simpsons video. The current one I'm angling towards is more about the video games instead. So like the games I grew up with, and like how that, because like what I find most interesting is the Simpsons arcade game, the one that came out in like 1990. That was like the one I played the most when I was a kid, and it was made sort of like around the the early part of the end of season 1, beginning of season 2. So really, they only had season 1 to work off as like their entire template for making a game. And season 1 of The Simpsons is rough to sort of base anything on.
The Klasky Chupo era is rough.
Yeah. But like it's the game is fun. I love and adore the game. But there's lots of elements that made it into the game which are like lost to Simpsons time, and that's the sort of stuff I want to dig into. That now I've now sort of found something interesting that I could talk about. But it depends if the sponsorship goes through. Because if it doesn't, I'm like, well, I'm not like 1000% certain on this idea. So I will I'll go with something else instead. So yeah, that's been basically my week. It's been basically doing like lots of playing the arcade game, because it came out on the PlayStation 3 very briefly. It came out like 2013, I think. I can't remember what the exact time was, but they released it on the PlayStation Network and then like lost the rights and then pulled the plug. And so it's one of those like, like PT, where it's like a game that
you have it or
certain
you
people
don't.
downloaded. Yeah, if you have it, if you lose your PlayStation 4 or whatever, you cannot re-download the game. It's that situation.
Or for the longest time, the Scott Pilgrim video game.
Exactly. Yes, exactly that too. Like, yeah, these like weird lost digital games that, I mean, unfortunately for Scott, it came back, but like, yeah, there's just these games that came out and then were like pulled away again, and like, I hate that as just as a consumer, you know, like the fact that
It's why I'm so much of a defender for physical media, is because you don't own something that's on digital. You rent it.
I mean, if Steam ever goes out of business, I don't have any video games anymore. I will literally be like, what do I do now?
I'm free now.
Talking about Simpsons, then it will be like in this one scene where, what episode was it? Something TV gets turned off, or the Krusty show gets turned off, and you see all the children coming out into the daylight and starting playing in the streets again. I will be like this, except with a mask, because it's still Rona time. Anyway, sorry. But yeah,
if that's all that's been happening in your week, Max, do you have anything interesting that happened to you? Because my week was boring.
I'm afraid my week doesn't have anything unique on a personal level. I mean, more Dark Souls. I'm still on it. I apparently I like it. I don't know. I'm now at the boss at the end of Blighttown. But
I'm not surprised. It's you.
I probably play it wrong. I grind too much and just buff my character up too much instead of getting good. But I guess it's an alternative way to approach the game. That is
getting good, though. It's building yourself up and getting good. It's literal, but yeah.
But I'm not becoming better. I'm just making my character better. No, besides that, let me see. I don't think that anything else happened personally, except, of course, there was this one thing you kids out there might have noticed happening this week. No, obviously actually not obviously. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sitting here in Germany, and yet this was probably the U.S. election I had paid the most attention to. Not just because I'm living with an American now, but without going into politics, there's something that I just feel like I want to say that's kind of on my chest, and I need to get off there. It's like, looking at my Twitter feed nowadays, especially with people I like and who are friends of mine, I'm like, can we maybe tone down the nastiness about the potential victory of the Democrats? Because what I see is like almost half the Americans still voted Republican. And those are your neighbors, those is half of the country, and whatever you think about it. And God knows, I am not a fan of Trump. But don't be nasty to the people. That's the thing. Like funny memes are a great thing. Share the funny memes, but not the ones that are malicious in intent, that are full of Schadenfreude. At least not against the voters and the supporters. Against the higher up, punching up is always a different topic. Go ahead, have fun, but don't be too in the face.
You got to remember though that like but like this is the same crowd who are like wearing t-shirts that says F your feelings and like drinking cups of libtard tears, you know, like, you know, these are the very less forgiving people who were on, you know, when the shoe was on the other foot, who gave no remorse or, you know, consideration for like empathy or sympathy. So whilst I'm not, you know, out there targeting anyone, like at the same time, I'm not going to be like, no, stop, you know, like I'm going to be like, yeah, you know, it's your turn now, you know?
I mean,
there is a karmic retribution, because there is the thing of you don't want to condone their actions. And I guess there's also the argument of the whole counter argument of, are you any better? But I also understand where a lot of people come from, especially since the reason why this election was so important is that a lot of people's rights were on the line. So I think to an extent they got that. But
Okay, sorry.
I was just going to say, we're allowed to make fun of the fact that they booked the wrong 4 seasons for his
Oh,
final season.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Funny stuff, please go ahead. What's funny is funny. And as I said, the memes, all power to the memes. And I'm also not on this. I saw some tweets going around about now being asked for forgiveness. No, not forgiveness. Some shit has been done that should not be forgotten or forgiven. But you don't need to antagonize them. Don't antagonize. Try to walk towards each other. That's why basically all I'm saying at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because I think
That's a fair point.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
no unnecessarily antagonizing. And now back to fun topics again.
Yeah, so I guess we can go into the little things that happened to me. Also, to answer people's questions, this is a cup I got in Las Vegas.
Oh,
okay. That cup apparently was.
the cup killed her.
Yeah.
I was too.
Oh no, you switched places.
Oh,
Oh, okay, you're back now.
For a brief moment, he was Chrissy.
Yeah, for a
wow.
I
It's like-
know.
It's like Freaky Friday.
But Chrissy,
I
when
know.
did you grow such a big beard? Chrissy, when have you
I
gotten
went-
so big eyes? But then again, I believe your eyes are actually bigger than Eddie's. Are they?
I mean, I don't
he has-
know. I
he
have
has
so
big
many
eyes.
bags under him.
I do have big
Because-
eyes.
You all the better to see your kid with. I did not know where I was going with that. It's
They're-
really
they're,
early.
They're
right
like
now.
blue as well. They're light blue as well. So like for a lot of like
Oh,
yeah, my teachers like for me growing up, I would walk in like massive eyes, blue eyes, with like hey.
I
It's
have
like,
like
whoa.
My thing is that I have eyes that people argue about because half of my fans think my eyes are brown and half of them think they're green. Joke's on you, they're in between.
Hey,
But it was
Breed.
well, no, it's yes, a breed,
green.
but not Hazel, Breen. But no,
The bottle.
it was also just to celebrate Nevada because
Ah.
thank you, Clark County, Las Vegas, you fucking came through, buddy boy. Also, just I love the story behind this is that I think the whole reason me and Max got this drink when he visited was because the owner of the karaoke bar we went to found out it was my birthday and gave me like $20 worth of vouchers for food and drinks. And I'm like, I didn't ask, but thanks.
And the thing is, we already had quite a bit to drink at this point, so we were like,
Oh yeah.
we don't want to spend those $20 on just more beer. We want to leave at some
yeah, we-
point, so we went fancy.
Oh, I mean, as fancy as like some kind of vodka drink that had a can of Red Bull just stuck on the top of it was. Oh God, I miss that karaoke bar. I miss going outside. But no, I was going to say the only way I could describe my week was a 4-day-long prolonged scream and then a sigh after.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I didn't know about Nevada because like once
Pennsylvania flipped,
like,
it was all over.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Like I could stop like
Oh.
fixated on this thing now.
To explain the fixation I had was just I was sitting at my desk, I have my tablet, I have my work, and then the New York Times right there, and I'm like, just watching and watching, getting mad at Florida, watching, getting mad at Texas, watching, and then
Well,
and
Texas
then,
be Texas.
I know, and you know what? I guess that goes into Max's thing. I saw some people being like, "Oh, we shouldn't give hurricane relief to Texas and Florida." No, there was still like
no,
50% of
Yes.
that population.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Oh,
No.
this is this.
Yeah, but no.
I just mean that, like,
We're-
Texas is historically Republican. It's like
Oh, yeah, but the
that's
fact
not a
that-
seat that's shifting anytime soon.
Oh, the
It's
fact
actually not.
that the fact
Is it
that
not?
the percentage went up
Yes.
so much though
It's-
is
Right.
impressive.
It's
And I mean,
over
like 3 of
5
the
million. Over 5 million people in Texas voted Democratic, and still
Yes.
the almost 40 fucking votes went all Republican because that's how broken the system is.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it, but I do agree the winner takes all system is
It's-
stupid. We
yeah.
have 2 states out of all of them that don't do that, which is Nebraska and Maine. They do it proportionally to the percentage that gets it,
Good.
which was what we do for the primaries, but whatever.
Mhm.
Just to say, I had a very fun week of drinking with my roommate while we watched Kipo and I think the best way to describe how I felt one day was it was while we were drinking we were drinking V8 fruit juice, watching Kipo spiked with vodka, and I was making ramen, and I boil the water, and I'm putting the brick of noodles in, and the pot was too small for the brick, and I just started laughing, and I fell to my kitchen floor, just like, ah! If that was not a way to describe Tuesday through Thursday, I don't know what is. But besides that, to move to media, I've been watching a lot of horror stuff, and I think it's because the only last thing in my week is I actually am getting a horror short film put into production that should hopefully start in 2021, and so I've been just watching a bunch of stuff because it inspires me, and I love a good psychological horror. And one of the things that I was encouraged to watch was season 1 of this sci-fi anthology show called Channel Zero, where each season is based off of a famous creepypasta or internet horror story. And Candle Cove, which is the one it's based off of, is one of my favorite horror stories written on the internet by Chris Straub. And if you don't know what Candle Cove is, the story is essentially an internet forum of just all these people reminiscing about this public access puppet show, and it slowly gets darker and darker, and then the big twist at the end is one of their peoples ask their parents about it, and they're like, oh, when you were a kid, you always said, I'm gonna watch Candle Cove now, and then watch a half hour of static. So it's like, and so they built upon it with this Channel Zero Candle Cove show. And as a show itself, like taking it away from its source material, which is very minimalist, I think it's good as a show itself. But I do know some people who really like the original source may find it a bit too of a distaff counterpart, because it has to build on so much to be a 6-episode, 45-minute per episode thing. Because they add stuff like psychic kids, this tooth creature, which, oh my god, I don't like him. He's very creepy. I also found it very concerning how many YouTube comments on the trailer were people saying that they wanted to pet him because they wonder what his texture would feel like, and I'm like, I don't know. He's activating some tryptophobia I didn't know I had. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I would say if you like the unironic seasons of American Horror Story, you'll probably like this. Also, if you like stuff, the thing I can equate it to that I've watched recently is Dr. Sleep, in both people's performances and also how they handle like the supernatural. Because a lot of this stuff you could be like, that's just the Shine that Stephen King. It does feel like they took Candle Cove and mixed it with a Stephen King book, which is not a bad thing. It also shares a Stephen King thing that the best actors in it are the children.
Ooh, that is...
Oh my god, so there's a lot of children characters in this, and they all do a really good job. There's one person who plays the younger version of the main character who has to play his twin brother in the flashbacks and interact with each other, so he does a really good job having two distinct performances, because I thought they were just actual twins. But no, it's just one kid.
Right.
I haven't seen the other 3 seasons because I really wanted to focus on the Candle Cove thing, because I really like that. Fair warning, there are a couple of more body horror moments that if you are a bit squeamish, you may not like, though they do tend to shift away once things happen. Like someone pulling out their own teeth. Not fun.
I mean,
and also,
it is horror by genre, I guess. And
yes.
What's the rating on it?
I wouldn't know, because the thing is, this wasn't a streamed show. This was actually on Sci-Fi Network, which is the other warning, because I had to get used to it because I've been watching so many stream exclusive content. They do have cut to blacks where you would have seen the commercial breaks. So if you're wondering, like, did the episode end? No, it comes back. It's like What's New Pussycat. But I enjoyed it as its own thing, though.
Does the tooth monster pop up and go like, "This episode is sponsored by Pepsi Max"? You know.
That would have been the way to kill the monster.
I
just
just
throw a
wanted
can of
to
Coke on
say,
it.
you would expect the monster to be sponsored by Colgate or something.
I will say, it's also really good because a lot of the actors are unknowns. They're relatively, the rest of their resumes are B listings. I think the most prolific is the main actor played a character on the first 2 seasons of Community. Or Parks and Rec. It's one of those. I always get them wrong. One had Chris Pratt, the other one had Donald Glover. I can't. You don't ask me which one's which. But I genuinely think it's pretty good as its own thing. However, if there's like people who like the more minimalist horror stuff, there is a little supplemental thing I wanted to add, but it's something I have to talk less about, which is a YouTube channel that's made by Chris Straub called Local 58 TV, which is a spin-off from Candle Cove, because this is the hypothetical these are recordings from the hypothetical public access network that Candle Cove would have aired on. And it's all the stuff put together is either little bits of original footage that Chris has made or public access stuff. So public domain music, public domain like screens and all that, and then stuff he photoshopped together. And I am fascinated by it because there's no dialogue in most of these things. They're like a weather alert screen and all this stuff, but then it just gets more and more demented. But it doesn't feel, I guess the best way to put internet horror stuff is edgy. It's just legitimately unsettling. There's no jump scares, there's none of that stuff. It's just, you feel uncomfortable in just, this feels like in a slightly different world, some of this stuff could be real. Like there's one called Contingency, which is essentially this hypothetical slate that would have came up on TV if America was taken over by an insurmountable force that essentially told people to go off themselves so the enemy can't take them. And it is just, you feel uncomfy, and that's what I look for. That's the shit I'm into. But you know, if you don't like stuff that kind of fucks with your head, don't watch either of these things. Why are you taking a psychological horror recommendation? Go watch Saw. I'm sure that's a lot more pleasant on your eyes and brain.
It's interesting that you said that's Chris Straub, you say?
Yeah.
I know him. I know him from the like webcomic days, like super duper long time.
Yeah, one of the local 58 shorts is a cartoon that has his little cadaver skeleton character that was in one of his webcomics.
Yeah, there was like Checkerboard Nightmare or something like that. Then there's the spaceship one, Starslip something or other. Like, yeah, I used to watch a ton of his comics. I had no idea. Like, I just lost. I kind of lost track. But like, yeah, eventually shifted over to horror, which makes a lot of sense. Like that's there's a lot of crossover between comedy and horror. It's the same sort of like set up beat punchline sort of thing and subversion of expectations.
The character in the little animated short is from Brood Hollow, the Brood Hollow webcomic.
Right.
And oh man, yeah, I don't like that skeleton that appears. But it's really interesting the story that you can get from so little. I know that there's a YouTuber now called NextPro who did like a big like analysis of the stuff, but I don't even think you need to go too into it besides just enjoying it genuinely as these little bits of unsettling content. And if you're into stuff that goes more into the primal fears that a human has, I think you would like Local 58. If you like stuff that's more on the supernatural end, you would like Channel Zero, Candle Cove. Though it does have a little bit of adult fear because it does deal with like missing children. Let's just say that's part of the plot. So
I'm a big wimpy baby when it comes to horror. I don't watch it. I have been like of late. I have been watching. I would watch like clips of like Saw and It and like the kind of the mainstream horror stuff. But like I would watch it without context. I would just see the horror scenes, and that's how I consume horror. Because all horror is like it's a lot of build up with the payoff. If I jump straight to the payoff, it's like nowhere near as scary. So I can see every saw trap play out, and I'm fine with that because I haven't had like the half an hour, 1 hour long build up to be like so racked with tension that like when those moments happen, like I could just watch it and be like, oh, that's funny.
So,
Tooth Point doesn't come running up to the screen to attack you.
So
like,
basically, your recommendation would be to watch horror movies backwards.
Yes, that's how I would genuinely consume horror. I'm such a baby. Like I had Tom explain to me the entire beat by beat blow of what happens in Haunted of Hill House, just because I would never watch it. But if I'm told what happens and then I find those clips in isolation, that's how I can consume it. So I've basically seen the twist ending without having seen everything else with no context. So I can see that and be like, that is cool and messed up and stuff. Cool. Anyway,
a deconstructed horror film.
Yes, I'm such a baby. I can't look at it as it's meant to be. I can only see it in pieces.
Oh yeah, I understand. I just like being spooked.
No, that's fair. That's fine. I just don't.
Except when it's clowns. Clowns can go fuck off. Especially if you're watching a movie in the dark and someone decides to fucking scare you while the scares are going on.
I would know nobody who does stuff like this.
Fuck off. But yeah, that's what I decided to bring to media show and tell.
Yeah. Eddie, what about you?
Oh,
what media have you consumed recently?
I forgot I was supposed to provide something towards this, but what I have been watching lately is I've been watching Kipo too. I'm like episode 8 of season 3. So I haven't quite got to the finale yet. Although, like, I mean, have you got to season 3?
Yes.
I've been to. We have seen it to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I can't help but notice that, like, it seems like maybe some of the animation budget was pulled midway through season 3 compared to season 1.
Without spoilers, I know completely where you're coming from. Let's just say they allocated the budget. You will get
to the end, right?
You will get the budget back. Don't worry.
No, that's fine. Like,
I recall having the same feeling in the middle of the season for some episodes where I'm like, that used to look better. But there's payoff.
They did the panty and stocking thing, except without the thing that panty and stocking used to do, which is like change the style to fit the budget that they were putting towards the episode.
Yeah, but, I mean, even like
they save it for the end.
Even She-Ra like worked around like budgetary stuff when they do like they make up the episode where they're like trying to come up with different plans of attack, and it's all played out in different styles, and some of them are like super stylized. It's like that. I'd watch a whole show of that.
Yeah,
that looks cool. We know it's an animation workaround.
Yeah.
But like, so I have been watching that. But what I did recently finish was Amphibia, season 1, on Disney Plus.
Be a bit vague. We're still getting through it.
Yes.
That's fine. It's big, Gravity Falls energy.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm fully down with. It's got like I've been like. I don't know what it is, but as I've hit my 30s, I've really enjoyed more slice of life style narratives with a female protagonist. I don't know whether it's just because I'm a child of the 80s, so it's like if it's a girl, that's a girl's thing. If it's a boy, this is a boy's thing. And so I was like, I'm a boy, I'm only going to consume boy stuff, and like missed out on like a plethora of like just genuinely good stuff that just so happens to have a female lead. And so, like, I've been like super enamored with like a lot of female-led either shows or female, showrunners, and the shows they do, like Steven Universe, for example. So, so there's that whole element. I'm just fascinated by that, and it's very there is plot. Like, I obviously won't divulge what happens, but like there is plot, but they're very sparing with it. They spend a lot of season 1 just getting you into the characters. They're like, you need to be invested in not just like the the core cast, but like just the whole town that they're in, and getting they dedicate like an episode with each like little secondary character, and it is to sort of like get you so enamored with this world before then plot comes and knocks at the door. So like it's like 20 episodes. Each episode has 2 episodes within it. And I'd say that plot kind of intervened maybe like 4 or 5 times. It sort of like happens at the start, happens a little bit in the middle, and then kicks you at the end. And it's like, that's an interesting approach, because like, Gravity Falls does the same sort of thing where they're like, they play a lot of plot, but like, to me, that felt more like it had a thread sort of going along through the whole thing. There was always this like building sense of like mystery and intrigue, which is obviously what the whole show is built around. But it's a lot more sparing in Amphibia, and like I don't know whether that's partly because this is Disney and you can't necessarily guarantee what order they are either broadcasting or put on stream in, because Disney Plus doesn't like putting like episodes in order for some weird reason.
I think they put it in through production order and not broadcast order a lot of the times.
I'm not sure I think they just generally fuck up, because like there's the whole thing about DuckTales. It's a fair reaction. They put like the premiere episode midway through season 1.
Wait,
and
did
they? Yeah, when the kids first get together and go to Uncle Scrooge, like that, they put that midway, and then they had to like petition, like even the showrunners petitioned to like get it put to the first.
I mean, it's literally the introduction. It's not.
But
it's
that's
not
what I mean.
in medias res show. It's like literally introducing the characters and how they get there.
And like you might think, oh, maybe that was a one-off. Maybe like Disney just kind of messed up that one. So I did a big video about Goofy. And that part of research of that meant I had to watch every single episode of Goof Troop, which is on Disney Plus. But they like episode 1 is a 2-parter, and the second part is like all the way down to like episode 24 or episode 32 or something. It's like, because I'm watching them in order, like I'm binge watching this stuff, and it's not a show to be binged, but like I'm watching this and I'm like, wait, why are they talking about moving in? They've moved in like 20 episodes ago. What is happening? It's like, oh, it's a 2-parter. They just fucked up the order.
And
that's insane.
I thought Ladybug was bad. Where they have the origin 2-parter episode before the finale of the first season. And it seems to be intentional.
Right.
It starts like in a Monster of the Week episode, goes this way 3/4 of the season, and then, but once again, intentional, at least the 2 parts are together.
Yeah.
Good job, Disney Plus. You have literally a job of episode curation.
It's Disney Plus is not a good service. Like, I mean, like the content is great. I mean, like it's the legacy of Disney and Pixar and such and such. You know, that the content, you know, is unquestionably good, but it's just the fact that like the layout and the stuff, it's really bad. Like if I'm watching, like if I'm streaming to the TV on my phone and I just want to be like, hey, I wonder how many episodes are left in this season. I cannot go back and see how many episodes there are. Like I can only close it or open it again. Like I can't like see, this is the list of episodes like in Netflix, you know? So I'm like, well,
it's not that much better on the desktop either. I don't get how every streaming service doesn't understand having just an episodes tab that you can access at any time, because HBO Max is the same way too.
The work has been done. Netflix has been out for how many years?
They just need.
They're like, we're going to be different. We're going to hide this information.
Yeah, they just need to copy what's already established to work.
It's weird because like sometimes I might be like, well, if there's like one more episode, then I might be like, yeah, sure, I'll just watch this one as well, yeah, just to get it done. But like, no, I'll have no idea. I have no idea.
Or how
it's
often,
a gamble.
Yeah, how often when I'm watching something with Denim and we are like, okay, do we watch one more episode or not? Oh shit, only 3 left. We're about to hit the season finale. Nah, let's keep it for another day.
Yeah, we'll pace it out.
Exactly.
Or even like, you might be like, well, I'm not into this show. How many more episodes are there left? Because if there's like a few, then I might stick it out. But if it's like, you know, too many, then I might be like, nah. But like, no, there'll be no way to tell.
Exactly. But to go back to Amphibia, it kind of reminds me, like, because we're a little bit of the ways. We're almost halfway through, I think, and it does give me vibes of the first season of Steven Universe, of how like the first half of the first season before Lapis came into the mix, it was very much a kid has magic powers. There's a monster of the week, blah blah. Before they actually were like, oh yeah, those monsters are our species.
Yeah.
We're the monsters.
All along. Dum dum dum.
All along.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But yeah, did you?
But go on.
But to come back to Amphibia, who would you recommend to check it out and who shouldn't?
I guess like I mean, obviously it is ultimately an animated show that is, I don't want to say kids, it's like a family show. Like to me like I kids shows, I would say, is like the educational stuff. So like that's a separate thing. So this is like, I'd say, a family show, which means anyone can enjoy it. So I guess if it's just like, if you're into like comedic sitcoms that are like, because it does go dark at places, it does go weird in places, and I do really enjoy it. They'll do like extreme close-ups and like people be like putting like, you know, horrified faces and stuff.
None of the protagonists is a paragon. They all are so flawed at times. It's amazing.
I mean,
Exactly.
Polly's the best character. Let's be real.
Yes, Polly.
Yeah.
But Polly is a bloodthirsty monster, so.
I know, she's the best.
Polly's-
Do we need to go back to the Tooth Person show that I just recommended?
Like I'm also
Oh
just
my
happy
God,
to
we're gonna
see
kill
like,
him.
I'm also happy just to see that like Bill Farmer voicing somebody else in Disney.
That isn't
That's-
goofy.
That isn't
Yeah.
goofy. Like, it's just great. I mean, I'm just happy for him. You know, it's like he must be like, yay, it's something else. You know?
Yeah, like what's his 3 biggest roles? Goofy, now Hop Pop, and that one like Lunchables commercial from the 90s that was play animated, and he played the dad. Like,
He's also the voice of Pluto. And so dogs seem to be his thing. And he's also oh god, what was it? He was Sam in the Sam and Max video game.
oh yeah,
because like
I
there was
forget
a
what it was.
Well, that's
that, you know,
something
did
Joey
you ever
would
see
love.
those you ever see those poker games that Telltale did, and they would like have guest characters and stuff?
Oh yeah, where they had like Brock Samson from Venture Brothers. in
Yeah.
there. Casino Night. I think that's
Yeah,
what it
that's
was
the one.
called.
And the GLaDOS was the card dealer. Like they did one with Sam as one of the players, and they're like, "Hey, didn't your voice used to sound a little goofy?" You know, they'll do like in-jokes, not into that.
Oh yeah. I remember
Um,
my favorite thing Bill Farmer did. That fucking robot chicken sketch where they parodied 8 Mile with Bugs Bunny. He was
Oh.
Bugs Bunny in it.
Oh, he's also the voice of Sylvester in Space Jam,
Hmm.
and he's
Oh, yeah, he
probably gonna be
is.
Sylvester in the new Space Jam movie.
Yeah,
Which
he
is
was
a
Secret
thing.
Squirrel and Harvey Birdman. He has a really big. He's one of like those actors that you get shocked by how much he voices in, and then because he just melts into every voice that he
Yeah.
does.
He's
But it's
not
just
a
like
Mark
for
Hamill
Disney-
you recognize every time.
Yeah, that's true. But for like for Disney, it's just like, I'm just glad it's not a dog. It's a frog. You know, it's not that
Yay.
far off, but you know,
It
it's like
it
it's
still
something
ends
else.
in an og, but
Yeah,
But yeah,
baby steps.
Eddie, anybody you would not recommend to check out Amphibia?
I mean, I guess the thing is, it is still ultimately like it's a young skewing show. So I'm guessing like if you're more of like, I don't know, you've outgrown this sort of stuff, and you know, if you're like the more super cynical Rick and Morty, South Park, edgelordy kind, then there's nothing
I
here for
watch
you.
and like all 3 shows.
I like.
Oh, everybody frozen to me? That is weird. I am still on air. Oh, okay, now you're back. You're back, guys. Okay.
Oh,
the
Okay.
internet cut for a minute. But
like if you're still like my point is like if you're a fan of like the cynical stuff, but like only the cynic. Yeah, there's a term for it, like a sitcom, cynical com, like sync-com or something like that. There's some portmanteau. Because there's been a run of like shows like BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, South Park that are all like they're based on more cynical protagonists, and I love those shows
Nihilism,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, I love those shows too. Like I mean, I just finished season 2 of BoJack. I have a ways to catch.
Ooh. Not again. What again? What's happening? The funny thing is, the funny thing is, it seems to be my end because both of you freeze up. But the funny thing is, the stream continues, so it's only incoming internet, but not outgoing internet. What?
I guess, but yeah. So.
Yeah.
We get what you mean.
Exactly.
If you're just if your content is exclusively nihilistic things, you wouldn't like this bundle of joy.
Yeah, this is like sweet and optimistic and bubbly and lighthearted, and it's like it may be just like generally seen as too kiddie for you, and that's fair. That's fine.
That's fine.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Also, just to say before we get yours, I looked up more Bill Farmer stuff, and he's in Sing as Bob the news reporter dog. There's a conspiracy here.
I mean, wait, what's his last name again?
Farmer.
Oh, no, okay, what was his first name?
Bill.
Okay, never mind. I saw.
What did you think it was gonna be? Do you think you were going
Dog.
to like put? Yes, because if you take like the first letter of his name and then make it a different letter and just changed it, you would get dog.
Oh, come on. What's happening here? What's happening? Stop doing that. Okay, we are back.
Jesus. But Max, what is get through your media so we can get to questions.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
I want to know how to get lots of subscribers.
I just banned him.
I'd never know now.
But yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You can probably go back to the vlog, pause the video, and type the link.
Streamer.
But yeah,
man,
I'm so sorry. But yeah, my media to.
God, Max is just trying to ruin our careers by just like taking away of our sick opportunities to learn the dope.
Holding us back.
It's true.
Holding us back.
It's true. Such a serious business offer. Yeah, but my media this week, and I try to keep it short. I mentioned before great books like Frozen again. This is getting very spooky. Okay, you're back. But yeah.
Are our voices still coming through? Is it just the pictures?
No, it's completely...
It's just a total freeze.
Yeah, I hope we can make it through the remaining half hour of the show. Somehow,
we're sorry about
fingers
this, Eddie.
crossed.
This is not against you.
Yeah,
I guess the internet just doesn't like this.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah. Anyway, I believe I talked on the show before about the Reckoners, about Starside, and they are frozen again. This is unbelievable. I mean, I can just hardcore monologue and hope that... I believe you guys can hear me, can you? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I will just, while I'm monologuing, I will just ignore that you freeze up. That works for me. I mean...
Go for it.
Okay, so yeah. Books that I talked about before in very positive tones, they are written by a person, believe it or not. This person by the name of Brandon Sanderson. Now, we know, especially in recent history, not naming names, that liking the product of an author does not necessarily equate to a great person when it comes to the author. However, Brandon Sanderson is a very nice fellow.
Okay, this was going on a good. This is now a good kick. I thought we were getting into a mean place now.
No. This is an absolute positive place. Brandon Sanderson. So he, I will admit, I only checked out 2 of his series so far. I definitely need to get into Mistborn. I believe is the name of his biggest series, which through his YouTube channel I now learned about. It's a mixture of high fantasy, young apprentice heist movie. Not movie, genre. So, a kind of apprentice in a high fantasy world goes on a heist. And this is the plot for Mistborn, I believe the name of his flagship story, which I still haven't checked out, so shame on me for just checking out his B stuff, which is not even down his usual genre. But yeah, so what this... fellow also does, as a side gig, I dare to say, if I understood it correctly, is teaching at a university a writer's class. And now let me see if I can find it. And because he's a great fellow, he has his creative writing lecture from the BYU Baltimore BY. What is BYU? Probably something, yeah.
Brigham Young University.
Okay.
Bring your own bottle.
Funny thing, he always has
Bring your own.
funny thing, he always has a water bottle strapped to his wrist that he constantly zips out of during his lectures. So it actually might bring your own bottle. But yeah, and what he does is, so he cannot just write, he can also speak and talk, which I actually noted in the past because he does, which I find so weird, signing live streams. Where he is just live streaming for 2 hours, just going from one paper to the next and signing it. So probably for his books or something. However, it's a Q&A session. He's there with another fellow who reads him questions and he just answers while continuing doing his signing.
Really good way to deal with a monotonous task.
Absolutely. I mean, what would I do in his position?
The two sides of the brain are both working.
Yeah, exactly. What would I do when I do this kind of a monotonous task? I would probably watch something or listen to something or maybe be in a Skype call. I don't know. So, but yeah, I knew that he did that, but only recently I actually discovered his creative writing lecture. I started listening to it, even so I don't really have ambitions to writing at the moment. I mean, I still have unfinished projects.
But it's still stuff to.
Yes.
It's still interesting to listen to.
And, exactly. And since I also do like to think analytically about media that I consume and maybe ever come back into having critical videos on them, if I ever get off my lazy ass and start writing videos again, it's still interesting to get the insights. And it's also the thing of, if you understand how something works, you can appreciate it more. It might kind of ruin bad stuff for you, because then you start seeing the flaws. The big critique on analyst and stuff, analyst YouTubers, that they ruin your childhood and stuff you like for you because they teach you to think critical.
Mean like
they point out the flaws.
Show that we watched?
Or Tommy Oliver. I mean, remember Tommy Oliver, who had an existential crisis years back, a fellow analysis-heavy YouTuber, who had an existential crisis years back because he was thinking that his content was ruining stuff for his viewers because he was too critical about stuff. And
that's a carousel of dread at that point.
Yeah, but yeah, what I wanna, I haven't checked out a lot on his channel. He also has very weird videos, like where he is just throwing a manuscript down the stairs and just has a pile of paper. Here's the one that I recently saw. That sounds like my
type of content. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, like, I know he's a manuscript for his new book, and she's doing that.
Hell yeah! That's a power move. What are you talking about? Like, he knows it's gonna get published. He knows it's perfect. Just throw it down. That is just confidence.
That was his
These are self-help videos. Like.
But yeah, what I want to say, there's a lot to discover on his channel. What my personal recommendation goes to is his creative writing lecture. I'm only at video 2 or something. But yeah, like if you are interested, 13 according to this list.
Okay.
Then apparently he has an audiobook of his he just releases from one of his newest books an audiobook version for free on his channel, which is on the one hand neato. On the other hand, I haven't read this series up to this point. I cannot listen to this.
Well, I guess that encourages you to listen, doesn't it?
Hey, listen, hey.
When I first met my wife, she wasn't my wife then. But when I first met
goodness, that would have
but whoa, wait, what? She introduced me to a book series called The Wheel of Time, by. Oh my god, I've gone blank on his name and she's going to kill me. I forget who wrote Wheel of Time. But he then died before he finished his Wheel of Time series. The series of books.
Robert Jordan?
Thank you, Robert Jordan, yes. He was meant to have like 12 books in his series or something like that. And like he finished the 11th book and then died. And like everyone's like,
Brandon took over
no,
for it, didn't he?
no. So Brandon Sanderson took over
The very
and completed the series. Like he was given the the direct blessing of the wife and the publishers and stuff. And instead of it being a final book, it became a final trilogy of books. There was just like too much to wrap up in one book, so they made 3 more books. And like I had read. I don't read high fantasy stuff at all, but like this was this was like someone I was trying to impress. So I started reading the books, and like I got really into it. And then like I had noticed that there had been just generally kind of a lull like in the midway through like book 8 and book 9 and stuff. But then like by the time I reached like Brandon Sanderson stuff, it perked it right back up again. And it gave it such a really good send-off, and I was like thrilled. And like now it's going to be adapted to an Amazon series, right? Like as a Game of Thrones competitor. So got that to look forward to.
I mean, if they don't ruin the last season, they are good to go.
Exactly. They've just got one job. Just don't.
No Starbucks cups under a throne. None of that.
Yeah. I mean, at least this is a completed series. Like I think won't get Game of Thrones deviated from the books in the end.
That's the problem.
Finished.
That's what killed it, actually.
Yeah, so no, this one has at least it has a. I'm not saying that they have to stick rigidly to the text. I want them to be able to like, to adapt it and like and adapt, to make it fit for TV. So I'm not expecting it to be 1000% true.
No,
but there's at least a skeleton to work off now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I take it.
Who do you recommend this channel to?
Well, I mean, if not the channel, at least this playlist. People who either are interested in writing themselves, because it's literally a lecture on writing. He's literally tell you how to approach ways of how to approach it, and he also is really good in that regard. That he is a kind of guy who, from the get-go, hammers you with disclaimers about, hey, there are as many approaches to writing as there are writers out there. So he's not trying to sell you his message. He's not so full of himself that he tries to sell you his method as the perfect method. No, he is like giving you, hey, this is how it might work. This is alternative approaches I have heard about.
It's like a Skillshare course, but
basically
on YouTube.
Yeah, and this was funny. Just today I got an ad before a video about Masterclass. This is high premium production thing from the Scorseses of the world, who then teach you about how they became these world-class professionals. And here you have it for free. You can just check it out. So if you need something on your ears, he's not very visually heavy, so it's easily something to listen to while doing something else. So that is part of my recommendation.
Like finding a ton of books.
Exactly. I might or might not listen to this during work nowadays.
Hooray.
But yeah, if you're interested in actually becoming a writer, or if you are just interested in general in the medium of storytelling, and you want to get this this edge on it, like as I described in the beginning, like you learn about how it's done, so you can develop your own look at it, your own view on it. So for those people, I would recommend it. Since it's on YouTube, you literally have no barricades to overcome to just check it out for yourself. I mean, if his voice, if you start grinding your teeth when you hear his voice for 2 minutes, then okay, it's not for you, but you have nothing lost. So yeah, if you're in general interested in listening what a professional, successful writer has to teach you, he's also, I would say, a somewhat charismatic guy, so go ahead, check it out. That's my recommendation.
If you want some confidence, watch him throw his manuscript down the stairs. There's something for everyone.
He has multiple videos of that.
And now we have to go lightning round with the...
Up. Frozen again. I got frozen today. But yeah, I guess since you guys can allegedly still hear me, I guess I can ask the first Twitter question. I hope I'm not completely talking over people right now. Oh, you're back.
Talking over me.
I'm sorry, but you're back.
It's okay. No, I was saying that I'm still looking at Bill Farmer's filmography. And he was in Son of the Mask as the masked version of the dog.
Oh no!
Wow.
Okay, I'm putting Phil Farmer's filmography away. What's the first?
Well, the first question on Twitter is from Joey the Gay Noodle Jennings, who is asking, favorite cartoon of all times?
Oh gosh.
That is a hard one.
That changes a lot.
That changes a lot.
It's
I
true.
mean,
Like
of
it goes
course,
with.
yeah.
It's so hard to pick just one because like there's so many that fit different moods and stuff. I think like Steven Universe is right up there. Like generally, like I do love and adore Rick and Morty. There's like Futurama. God, it's generally so hard to pin down. I mean, I'm loving like every new show I watch is like my new favorite show. Like my new favorite show is Amphibia, and before that it was Star vs. Forces of Evil.
That the
And,
newest show is always overriding ones because you're in the hype.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess like it's just genuinely hard to top much of the golden age of The Simpsons. Like I think like yeah, talking of like seasons, like
You are frozen again, so you might have to repeat which season. So, talking seasons.
it's seasons 3 to seasons 9. I think that's around about then. That's when it like hit its absolute stride, its golden era, and I think it's just hard to top that. I think like every other show is like always in reflection of just what The Simpsons championed, I think.
Yeah, I think mine. It's so hard to pick, but I think my two that are my favorite just because they've stuck with me is probably the concept of the Scooby-Doo franchise, because that's my childhood. And it's just my dream is to one day write a Scooby film. I will get that dream. And Steven Universe Future. That was the first show in a long time that made me just feel things. Like I identified with a show. So those are my two.
Yeah. I do feel so bad for Steven Universe. Like the fact that like season 5, I mean the fact that futures exist is because season 5 basically got rushed to end. Because Rebecca Sugar pushed for the wedding.
The wedding.
They were like, okay, you can have it, but we're not going to renew your show. And so they just had to race to get everything packed into those last few episodes, which then paid off because they at least then got to do the movie and then they got to do the epilogue series.
Yeah. They talk about in the End of the Era book that's out now. And I saw so many people on Twitter just being like, damn it, I feel bad now. Like,
yeah, there's so much they didn't get to tell, and they just had to rush it. It sucks because I'm sure there was a lot more they wanted to pace out and other stories to tell, but they just had to like get it done because it's better to have a complete story than a full but incomplete story.
Than a Firefly. But what about you, Max?
I guess I could go for a boring route and say something like Avatar, but
oh my god, that's not a boring answer.
Yeah, but it's like the run of the mill. So many people agree that it's one, if not the best cartoon of all time. So it's like
I would agree with that sentence. Yes,
but doesn't that say something?
But this is like saying that the best movie of all time, Citizen Kane. It's like many people will be like, yeah,
doesn't
sure.
that no? But I would argue. I would argue, given that you are self-admitted to be a person that sticks with that is so like consumed by hype that every new show is your favorite. The fact that Avatar, a show from not even the 2010s, sticks with you. That says something a lot about how much it gets to you.
I mean, I'm also currently rewatching it. Even so, I am very tempted, once again, if I get off my ass, to do another That Stupid video on Avatar the Ba Sing Se arc. Because, oh boy, if you actually look critical at it, Long Feng is such an idiot. Nothing what he does makes any sense. But anyways, no, what I probably would go for It's probably thinking about shows where I'm looking forward to every new episode, for example, which I did for Avatar back in the day. Funny fact, I have not yet watched a single episode of Rick and Morty season 4. Kind of fizzled for me out with season 3.
I've seen a few, and I do need. I know there's more, and I just need
Yeah.
to. I haven't really felt an urgency to watch it. You're right. There
Exactly.
was a bit about season 3 that fizzled us out.
But yeah, I still want to watch it. I still have my Szechuan sauce shirt. So no, what I would say probably is like DuckTales, the current one of DuckTales. Every new episode, it hasn't had a single bad episode. Oh, Mau Mau, also not
Mau
a
Mau.
single
I need to
bad
see that.
episode. Not a
I do need to see Mau Mau.
We haven't 40 episodes and not a single one is bad. It's and it fits like Newgrounds humor because Parker Simmons, the creator, was a Newgrounds vet, and it's mwah.
Yeah.
But
and maybe just to throw one last out there that damn it, now I lost the thought. Damn it.
lightning round, dude.
Moving
come
on. Next question.
Dude. Okay. Let's
15 minutes
from Grandma
left.
Denim Kraken Ninja. What would be your bizarro monster sona? That is, what is a monster that is opposite of what your usual pick for yourself as a monster would be? So think about yourself as a monster, and what's the exact opposite?
But it's still a monster, so I cannot just
it's
go
still
with
a monster.
fluffy, happy teddy bear or something. Because
You can't be a unicorn.
Yeah, how closely related is the monster to you? Like, I mean, is it just me, but I'm a monster now, or is it like? I'm so confused by the setup.
Yeah, what kind of monster would you identify with the most if you had to become a monster?
And then what would its opposite be?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So still a monster. Yeah. Monster is opposite of what your monster sona would be. So first you have to consider, okay, what is my monster sona? And then be like opposite.
Okay,
Right.
I got it.
Okay.
The opposite
Right.
usually I would be something that would be like its own being but can still control people, like a vampire or something.
Mm-hmm.
The creature that is in John Carpenter's The Thing. Because then I lose my identity because I'm just changing into other people, or a pod person. Like, I don't want to be other people. I want to control other people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mine.
I love goblins.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're my favorite monsters. Like any D&D game I play, I'm a goblin.
So,
And that often breaks 5e because they don't, they have to accommodate me because I'm like, no, I want to be a goblin. I know that's a common enemy, but I want to be a goblin. I will kill other goblins. I don't care.
So something tiny and sneaky. So
Yeah.
the opposite, probably an ogre.
Like I like bastard characters. You know what I mean? Like the ones who are like, and this isn't exclusive to goblins. Like any like cartoon or TV show character who is like in some way corrupted and like conniving and sinister, but maybe also endearing still, and like maybe a bit shit. They want to be evil, but they're a bit bad at it. Like that. That's my favorite sort of stuff. So like I guess really it would have to be the opposite. Yeah, I guess like an ogre, or maybe something just so clean and pristine, like an elf or something.
Like a dark elf, like, just kind of like, send them to the hounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's boring.
Sparkles. yeah. So, okay, but what about you, Max?
Did we say? Did we ever determine a monster sona for me in the first place?
Shapeshifter, usually.
Really? I'm a shapeshifter. Okay, sounds like me. Yeah, actually. So something not very shapeshifty. So maybe a rock monster or something. Like.
Sure. Honestly, you and I could switch what our things would be, because my opposite is a shapeshifter or some kind of not. I'm just Double Trouble from fucking She-Ra.
And I'm the Thing from Fantastic Four.
Exactly. There you go. Do we have anything else on Twitter? We have time for one more Twitter thing and then the FMK.
Let's see.
Darn you, technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I mean, I could keep going for another like 10 minutes or something like that. That's my end.
Yeah. You do not understand how long it takes for Max to formulate an
Exactly.
answer sometimes.
Let's just go with J-Rock for lightning round. For all three, would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals? Animals.
Animals.
That's
I want to make the contrarian answer now.
Oh.
You are interested in history, so I could see you.
I am.
Imagine,
However,
imagine
no,
you get your hands across Joe McCartney's bathrobe and you touch it and you get to learn the entire history.
I'm sorry, Joe McCartney. Did you just call? It's
What?
Paul McCartney. You fucking
And I'm not even doing this on purpose.
The famous Beatles, John, George, Ringo, and Joe.
Anyway, Paul McCartney's bathrobe. Imagine you could touch it and learn the entire history. Oh my god, I killed her, literally, on camera.
No,
content.
my god. No. I would say, as someone who likes to write and do stories, I could have a lot of material. I mean, if I ever wanted to write an erotic novel or something, I could just go to any seedy hotel room and put my hand on the bed and just see what the story is there.
I don't know if I want those sort of stories. How in control of it would you be? You know, would like your shirt constantly be screaming, "I was in a cupboard," you know?
Oh, is it like how people imagine Aquaman just constantly hears like the screaming of fish? Like, oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm trying to formulate something clever, but my brain is just Joe McCartney.
Joe McCartney.
Joe McCartney. Hey, Joe McCartney, you ever want to come onto the podcast? I love your song, Die or Let Live.
Dear John.
Dear John. But no, I think we'll go with that. I am a big history buff, so being able to like go to historical things and touch things and know its history, I could be like Christopher Walking in the Dead Zone. I could do some good for the world. I could touch like a crime scene, and I would know everything that happened beforehand. Ooh, this is interesting now. So that's my answer. But yeah. So I think let's do the FMK because. God, Joe McCartney derailed things. From Magical Dude, who called dibs on the FMK this week. So, Spider-Verse has finally hit Netflix in the UK, a year after America got it. So, fuck the adult characters in Spider-Verse. Thank you, Magical, for bringing that. Peter B. Parker, Spider-Noir, and Spider-Ham. There are not a lot of options since half of them are middle schoolers. Have fun. Thanks,
right.
Magical. Oh,
so
God.
Guest goes first.
Yeah.
Noir.
Dad bod,
Ham.
Nicolas Cage, and John Mulaney.
Right. Okay. Well, I think. Let's see. I think. Oh God, it's just. I mean, Peter B is just sort of like a slob, a bit of a mess of a human. Like he you know, he had his life together and it all sort of crumbled around him and he let himself go. So I don't know if it's necessarily marry material, but you know, a dad bod's a dad bod at the end of the day. So maybe he's the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the marry. Now Noir, I guess, is getting in the lead there because I don't know how much I really want to spend my day to day with a literal pig. Like, all right, it's a cartoon pig, so like it would have, you know, would the bedroom be just full of like, you know, sound effects of like boink 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 boink, you know?
Oh no.
But I think I'm gonna have to marry Noir because like he punches Nazis for a living, and I think that's someone I could stand by. That's somebody I'd be proud to stand by. And I guess I'm killing the pig. So, you know, breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay, well, Max, it's your turn. Come on.
Okay.
He's going to conspire that I have the worst final combination.
Yes.
This is what happens every episode.
Also, I had my selfish episodes in which I just was so happy with a solution that presented itself. So what do I wanna do? Do I wanna have the boink 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 in bed, or do I wanna have Nick Cage in bed? That's the question here.
That shouldn't be a question.
So
Though the one thing, I feel like Spider Noir would narrate his actions in bed. Because that's just, he's like a...
okay, this sounds like a fucking experience. Literally in this context, I bang Spider Noir because just having a constant narration and also being it in black and white, that's very classy. I can work with that. By the way, you're frozen again in case you are having witty comebacks that I'm just ignoring. I'm not doing it on purpose. Okay, this then leaves... Oh no, now I know why I didn't want to go this route. Because this now means... I hope you guys are ever coming...
Oh no.
Oh, now you're back. Now you're back.
Oh
Who?
no.
Oh, everything's dead.
Wait, what?
There we go.
Okay, you're
There he
back.
is.
Oh, did you hear my answer?
Yeah,
No.
I know.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, you convinced me. I went with Spider Noir in bed because having it narrated, hopefully it being good. Otherwise, this will be very, very quickly escalating or de-escalating.
Yeah.
But having a fantastic voiceover of how good you are, and all in black and white, which is very classy, I take this. Even so, I now realize what this means.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm marrying Spider-Ham.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it will be interesting to live with a cartoon character permanently.
It'll be a funny marriage.
And I mean, it is.
He is voiced by a stand-up comedian.
Exactly.
So.
It's Mulaney. So it could be worse. And you see, here's the thing about Peter B. Parker. He has gone through shit. He is done with stuff. At this point, this is just me being like, hey, dude, you deserve a timeout, a permanent one. Maybe let the Miles Morales of your dimension step up. Like original
You're
Peter
mercy
Parker.
killing the depressed
I
Peter Parker.
I needed to come up with one explanation to not sound...
You're
Okay,
doing
so
him a service.
Exactly. I don't want to kill him because I love him. But I had to kill him, so I needed to at least make it sound nice.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. My combination would be I marry Peter B. Parker. You know what? He's a mess of a human being. Perfectly fits my taste. Also, you saw how much he appreciates food in the movie. I love to cook. That's perfect. Then I guess No.
Yes.
Oh, no,
Boink.
Oh. See, the thing is that I could say I'm fucking John Mulaney, but I'm also fucking John Mulaney. Not that he's not an attractive man. He's a boy, but it's just the thing of like, he's just one of those characters that you imagine if you took off his clothes, it's a Ken doll underneath. And I'm talking about Mulaney. So
and I mean, when Mulaney moans, you're not sure if it's pleasurable moan or just
No.
I'd be worried about having sex with John Mulaney just because anything I say or do might turn into a big crowd.
Yeah, this is how he talks about his wife, you know? But John Mulaney, if you ever want to come on the cast, no, just. But you know what? Okay, fine. I'm going to boink Spider-Ham because you know what? You're boinking a cartoon character. Some interesting stuff's going to happen, and if he could pull out a giant mallet out of nowhere, who knows what else he could pull out? Okay, we're pushing that out of everyone's collective consciousness now. And then I guess I'm gonna kill Spider Noir.
You monster. I mean, the true monster is magical for giving us three great characters, and we all have one to murder.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna go the mercy killing route, like Max. Now you may think Spider Noir already has a decent enough life, but if you can't see color, what kind of life do you live? You know, you see everything
Whoa.
in black and whites and many shades of gray. You can't see a rainbow. I think maybe I'm doing him a service. Who knows? Maybe the great beyond in his universe is actually colorized. Maybe it's a Wizard of Oz kind of situation. We won't know unless we try. Oh,
That's
I'm
some logic, I
sorry.
guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I made it awkward.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The memes are seen on this live stream as they talk about random grabs. Time for awkward guests. It's the awkward. Random guests and funny gags on the awkward guests. Hard work and analysis, which you do